Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to the Reptile Barn. Today, want to do part 3 of our collection tour, and we're going to go over our breeder male ball pythons. And I'm just here. I don't have anyone to hold for me, and I don't want to pull out every single one and put them in bins because they're kind of big. So I figured we'd just come inside the zone with all the racks and stuff. And I'd show them to you just from the bins, and I hope that's okay, because that's what we're going to do. So, start over here. This first guy I'm going to show you is actually not ours. He is on loan to us from a good friend. His name is Pharaoh. Get a good look there. There's his little pretty head. Pharaoh is a orange dream, yellow belly, double het ultramel pied. Okay? As those of you who've watched the channel for a while know, we have a good group of ultramel pied, I should say double het ultramel pied females growing up, nearly up to size. We do have a couple of males, but when we heard we had a local friend here who had this guy, we put together a breeding loan, and that'll be able to kind of increase the coolness of that project, right? So real excited about this guy. Again, his name is Pharaoh. Next on this particular rack, we have... And some of these names, guys, are a trip, I warn you. This is Playa Angel Cake. You heard that right. He comes from Garrick DeMeyer, Royal Constrictor Designs, and he is a banana pastel yellow belly clown. Okay? We searched long and hard for this snake, okay? For this particular combo, right? We wanted these exact genes in the snake, right? And look forward to breeding him some more. We're actually raising up some babies from this guy that we produced this year. But look at that. Just soft, gorgeous pattern. He's got only a few spots. It seems to me that when you have bananas, the more genes you pile on, the less spotting they get. There are obviously also some things that are known to really reduce the spotting. Specifically, super bananas don't get any spotting. But it does seem like when you get a complex combination like that, you're more likely to have lighter spotting, which to some people is desirable. Some people love the spotting. I actually really like the spotting. Anyway, next up, we have a very powerful male. Open this tub here. This guy we actually produced ourselves. His name is Pongo. And Pongo is a cinnamon mahogany pied. Okay? That cool, dark, rustic color. Just love this guy. Very high white because of the cinnamon, right? Cinnamon pieds tend to throw very high white. Enchi pieds tend to be really low white. So another male that you're going to see is an Enchi pied, and he has very, very little white on him. But yeah, cinnamon mahogany pied. We're very excited. He's been locking up. We actually have some eggs in the incubator right now that potentially came from this guy. There were actually 2 males. So we're not certain it was this male, but we hope so, right? Cinnamon mahogany pied. Last one on this rack is Cinna. Trying to do this one-handed is interesting, to say the least. Cinna was also produced here. He is awesome. The lighting in here isn't ideal. Let me turn, see if I can get a better view of him. He's not really showing up great. He's also going into shed, which isn't super helpful. But he is a super banana cinnamon, okay? And like I said, absolutely 0 spots on this entire snake. I'm not finding anywhere that's really showing his color great, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Oh, that's okay. You can start to see at least that there are colors. But yeah, super banana, cinnamon, and he has been breeding for us really well, so we should get some babies from him too. If you guys go back and notice the difference between our video where we did our raise ups, either things that we hatched and we're raising up but are not yet breeding, or things that we've purchased recently that are also not yet breeding size, you may notice that these ones that we're breeding right now are not as genetically powerful. They're not as expensive, and this is by design, right? We didn't have $100,000 to start up our ball python business right from the get-go. Most people don't, and we did not want to take out a loan, so we did what we could, right? We started with projects we really, really liked. A lot of things we started with hets because that's what we could afford. 1 or 2 genes instead of 3 or 4, that kind of thing. And as we have grown and we can use income from our business to buy new snakes, we have bought genetically much more powerful, expensive animals. Not always. We don't want our entire collection to be $8,000 snakes plus. That is a business model that is out there, and some people do very well with it, but we want to be able to produce some things that pet owners can buy. Someone who just wants a pet snake, especially if it's a first snake, they're not going to go out and spend $6,000 on a snake, right? That's unreasonable to expect to have a big market for that. But we do want to produce some of those animals as well in the future. So we have bought or produced and held back some really expensive animals. So these ones you're seeing today, you might be like, why aren't these ones quite as high end maybe as the previous video where we showed you our raise ups? Well, that's why. We just couldn't afford it, and 2, we don't want our entire collection to go that direction. We would like to have kind of 2 paths. One, just producing cool animals that everybody wants, Mystic Potions, Blue-Eyed Lucies, Pieds, Albinos, that kind of thing, that fall generally under $500, that anyone who really, they're like, man, I saw this Pied online, I want it so bad, you can save up, you can go get a Pied. It's not going to break the bank, right? But we also have part of our project dedicated, part of our collection dedicated to projects, particular combinations, morph combinations, right, that we are most excited about, that tend to be complex, which makes them expensive. We don't love them because they're expensive. We love them because they look incredible and they're extremely different looking ball pythons, right? And coming along with those things obviously is a higher price tag. So that being said, let me move on to the next male. I don't think there's any males on that rack. There's one here. This guy is super skinny, but I'll pull him out. He's actually taking a break from breeding. Just dropped his feed card because he's so skinny. He went off feed, not for a terribly long time, but long enough. And it's time for him to put some weight back on, but he's eating really well. This is Onyx. You can see, look how skinny this guy is. See his spine. We're pretty careful with our males. We don't like to push it. So when he started losing weight, we just pulled him, and took him quite a while to get back on food, unfortunately. But he is now back on food, so he should plump back up real easy. But Onyx is a GHI Enchi yellow belly. We had purchased him as a GHI Enchi gravel, but we proved out this year that he is actually a yellow belly, which changes our tune a little bit. It also means he wasn't actually as expensive as what we paid for, but we have moved on, and we actually have some exciting things because he's yellow belly that we can do with him now. So everything will be okay. But yeah, Onyx, the GHI Enchi yellow belly. Go back home, little guy. go. Yeah, so next up, I don't know if there, oh yeah, there are. I'll just show you real briefly. I dropped a feed card, sorry. Real briefly, these two are brothers. I'll just show you one of them because they look exactly the same and they're the same genetically. Looks like a normal. This is Uric. These guys are double het ultramel pieds, okay, that we produced here. So, and they're already breeding, right? We got that breeding loan going as well because we have some females that aren't quite up to size. When they are up to size, we'll put them to that guy in breeding loan that I showed you first. But for now, our breeders for that project are just simple double het ultra pieds, right? Okay, next up, way at the top. Let me get a stool here. Might be in shed. I'm looking at him through the tub. Nope, I don't think so. This is one of our originals. We love this snake so much. This is Charmander. Sorry again about the terrible lighting. Charmander is an ultramel, visual ultramel. Also from Garrick Demeyer, I believe. Sorry, I meant to be saying all the breeders that we got these guys from, and I totally have not done that. My apologies. But Charmander's awesome. He will be here at the Reptile Barn forever. He's going to probably retire soon. Pretty much as soon as Prince Dreamy, our that we showed you in another video, who is a super orange dream ultramel, as soon as he's big enough and ready to breed, he'll take over most of these ultramel projects. And then Charmander will become more of a mascot that goes to birthday parties and things like that. But for now, he's still breeding a little bit. How about you, Greg? Can I come out? This, kind of the same deal. Come on, you. Why aren't you coming out? It's kind of hard up here at the top where I'm colliding with the ceiling to get these upper snakes out with one hand. But here he is. Don't go back in yet. There we go. This is Greg, our big giant desert ghost male. He came from Fred Kicks. Again, original snake right here. Literally first snake we bought as far as the ball pythons go years ago. And he is the father of many clutches for us here at the Reptile Barn. Unbelievably beautiful. We love desert ghosts so much. Probably our favorite gene. Yeah, so he also will probably retire mostly from the breeding lineup by next year. We have a Mojave yellow belly desert ghost male we're raising up to replace him in most of our desert ghost projects. He will stay with us forever. He will not be rehomed anywhere. This guy is a stud. We love him. And we'll actually probably even get another desert ghost male for separate type of projects, if you will. We really, again, we want to be heavily into desert ghosts. Sorry, one hand in you, little snake. Whew, okay. Next, Leo. Also fathered several clutches for us. This guy is a banana Enchi pied. Alright, and you can see he is very low white. Which I mentioned before, right? The Enchi makes pieds really low white. So if you have a cinnamon Enchi pied, I'm curious if they would compete and make a medium white pied, or if one of them would win. I don't really know. But I think he is actually breeding a cinnamon this year, so maybe we'll find out. But yeah, Leo, our cinnamon Enchi pied. Put him away. All right, next up, this little guy, who so far has been a stinker and not wanted to breed for us, but he's happy to eat our rats. Ugh. Looks like he's going into shed, unfortunately. That is a shame, because this is a dinker. Comes from Tim at HBP. His name is Ara, and if it proves out, this is going to be called the Orange Blossom Project. In shed, he looks like a normal. When he's not in shed, though, there's a lot of orange color that shines through. We're probably going to pick up, almost definitely going to pick up a female from Tim as well, Orange Blossom, and try and prove it out. That we don't, we haven't really done much of that here before. That is one thing that can take a lot of time to really solidly prove out the genetics of a dinker. And for those of you who don't know, a dinker just means it very well could be a genetically inheritable trait, but it just hasn't been proven yet. So we don't know. Is this a Mendelian trait that could be, recessive or dominant or whatever? We don't know. So step down without crushing a tortoise here. Hopefully, though, we get babies from him at some point. And pop out some little orange blossoms. Next up, my only bitey snake. Don't get me, buddy. And those of you who know the puzzle gene, let me show you without getting popped here. Oh, isn't he beautiful? Oh, yeah, there he goes at the camera. Oh, got the phone. The puzzle gene is recessive. Picked him up also from someone here locally. And we are super stoked. He's bred a little bit. He's a little young still. He's not super solid. But that is a gorgeous snake. We don't have a name for him yet. We need one. And for some reason, puzzles are just nervous as a gene. They seem to all start out being biters. Some people really work with them, and you can overcome it. It's not like they must be biters their whole life. We've held him quite a lot, messed with him, played with him. He just is a scared little guy, and we're gonna keep working with him until he is as docile and wonderful as any other snake. But you saw right there, I mean, within 4 seconds of coming out, he was already bah, bah, bah. Anyway, next. This guy was produced by us. This is a spinner, which is Pinstripe Spider, Het Desert Ghost. We would love to get some spinner visual Desert Ghosts, and he is breeding like a champion this year. So hopefully that will happen. I love the interaction of Pinstripe and Spider. So much gold comes out in that pattern. It's unbelievable. I absolutely love this snake, and visually, very, very simple, just a spinner, but Het Desert Ghost as well, and we're putting him to a visual female Desert Ghost, so we would love to get some spinner Desert Ghosts. That would be fantastic. Other than that, let me see, we have a couple snakes I don't think we showed you in that other video. They're real young and just started breeding, so we might have showed them in the holdback video. But they're breeding now, so just in case, I will show you. First off is our only other dinker, meaning it's just unproven genetics. This guy came out of a clutch of Super Mojaves and Mojaves, and while you can clearly tell he's Mojave, he was wildly different from any of his siblings. He looks almost hypo Mojave. Very, very pale. All the blacks are completely blushed out all the way over the top of the back, on the sides. So much blushing, it's kind of wild. And the overall color was just 10 shades lighter than the rest of the clutch. Really crazy snake here. It looks crazier when I compared him to his siblings, and knowing that there were no other genes at play, right? If there had been hypo or something like that, and maybe there was something like that just floating around heterozygously, but we've done this combo a bunch of times. If both parents were het for hypo, we should have got more than one out of the 40 babies or whatever we've produced from, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, so we have been breeding this guy. He's been doing really well recently, and we would love to see if there's something else going on. Basically, what we would hope to see, and this is why you always keep some normals in your collection. We bred him to a couple normals. We would like to see some normals pop out, some Mojaves, some something else's, and then maybe some Mojave something else's. And this is what I would call the Mojave something else, right? Because it is obviously Mojave, but it's also a weird, different Mojave that I've never seen before. So my hope would be that if something spontaneously occurred in the collection, or something was floating around unbeknownst to me in my collection, breeding to a normal is the easiest way to isolate the gene that is changing this Mojave, right? So we're pretty excited about that. Here's one last look at him. Sweet little guy. His name is Funky. Whoop! Sorry, phone. All right, go home, Funky. And he's called Funky because when he first popped out of the egg, we were like, that's a funky looking one. All right, I have one last snake to show you. This guy is named Dumbledore. Gavin named him. He just started breeding as well. And this little beauty, try and get him close. You're not going to be able to see. That's unfortunate. He just looks like a yellow snake in the camera. Well, he's not just a yellow snake. This is actually a spider mystic lavender albino. Okay? Real lovely. We did a trade year or two back for this guy, and he's just started breeding for us. So we will be able to put him to our adult female lavender albino and produce some more visuals with mystic and spider also in place, and hopefully hold back a female or two for our collection. All right, guys, that is the quick rundown of the males that we are breeding this year. And because we do year-round breeding, some of those young snakes that were holdbacks or purchases will start breeding in this calendar year still. But that's what's breeding right now. Those individuals are the ones that are old enough and big enough to breed currently. The only one who really isn't showing any signs, even though he's plenty old, he's like 2.5 years old and 900 grams or something, but just won't lock up, is Ara, the hopefully orange blossom male, the dinker. Everybody else is breeding. So it's looking really good. Looks like we're going to have a great ball python year. And when some of these holdbacks start getting up to size, some of these males that are real close, man, it's going to be some exciting locks. That is all. Hopefully the lighting and the camera that I'm using worked and you could see the snakes that I was trying to show you. Let me know if you want me to just go back to the table with the tablecloth and a tripod like we usually do our videos. But I was alone today, figured I would give it a try with the little stick here and my phone. If it's not as good quality or if something's just doesn't look as good, please let me know and we will switch back. Otherwise, we may use this a little more often. But yeah, that is all for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, we're the Reptile Barn.
Yeah.